asking the American people.
Hang on. No president in living memory has, with almost zero exceptions, has bothered to get congressional pre-approval for military strikes. We know that. You know that.
Yeah, we know that. And that's not okay. By the way, that's not okay.
Obama
That's
did more strikes than anybody, right?
There was no imminent threat to the United States when Trump made this decision to do what Bibi wanted. And I want to be clear here. This was not Trump's decision. It was Bibi Netanyahu's decision. And that is the reason that he did it. And we're very aware that Israel is dictating our foreign policy, and we would now like that to stop.
Now, someone's got to hold Candace Owens and give her a reality check, as lots of her followers are getting very concerned about her recent stance against President Trump. On this clip, you're about to see Piers Morgan, with great fail, try to put Candace Owens in check. Now, here it is.
You are implacably opposed to what both Israel and now the United States have done here. Why?
Because, well, first and foremost, just on the MAGA movement level, Trump came out and he gave us a promise that we were not going to be involved in wars. And I'm going back to 2015. Why did people get so excited about Donald Trump, who was then an unlikely candidate, who was being smeared by the media as being Adolf Hitler? Well, it was because he recognized that the American people were being forgotten while we were giving billions of unaccounted billions, by the way, for these never-ending wars. And so it's one of the earliest reasons that people got behind him and got behind his vision. And so we're opposed to a regime change because America as a country has a lot of problems that need to be fixed here first. It's that simple.
Right, but it's not quite that simple. And I'll explain to you why. Because Donald Trump, I think he's not been inconsistent in the sense that in his first term, he wasn't a pacifist, you know. And again, here, what he would argue, and has been arguing, is he's not declared war on anybody. What he's done is very specifically target Iran's nuclear capability because of latest reports coming out, which said they had taken the enrichment of their uranium stocks from 3.5% to 60%, and that therefore the leap to weaponization was moving at a pace that couldn't be tolerated. I gotta say, I kind of agree.
Candace Owens needs to get used to the fact that, part of what makes America great is its ability to wade into international matters and, broker peace. I mean, the peace through strength line best explains it. While Trump's main focus should be the growth and development of the United States, Iran's nuclear, enrichment from 3% to 60% could not have been brushed aside, as it put the rest of the world at risk, starting from Israel, one of the United States' strongest allies. Such weapons of mass destruction should not be in the hands of volatile individuals in the first place. So here's the main question. Should President Trump have folded his hands while the world gets blown to smithereens? That's definitely not a posture that the most powerful man on earth would take.
Now, if he suddenly commits, troops on the ground, then that becomes a different thing altogether. But even when Trump talked about regime change, I think he meant from within, as we saw in Syria in December, where the people themselves rise up. And if that was to happen, why would that be a bad thing?
Okay, so you're asking a lot of questions here. So first and foremost, the idea that you have to formally declare war on like a piece of paper in order for war to happen is a little bit ridiculous. I mean, he dropped bombs. He dropped bombs in Iran. So yes, we are a part of this war, whether we like it or not. Iran is now speaking and saying that they're going to shut down the Hormuz Strait. There's going to be impact on oil.
Why would they do that? Why would they do that when the main victim of doing that would be Iran? I mean, 50% of China, of the traffic of stuff through there is for China, which is one of their allies.
Don't care, not my business. The point that I'm making here is that to make the assumption that you can just drop bombs on a country and then say, well, you know what, we didn't formally declare war is patently ridiculous. I think that is just patently ridiculous.
But what about when he killed General Soleimani, one of Iran's top military commanders?
Sure, an assassination, a strike, and that, of course, came with some risk. It's a little bit different to be flying out B-6 bombers in the middle of the night and dropping bombs at the behest of Bibi Netanyahu, which brings me to the second point. The reason that America wants a regime change in Iran is because Bibi Netanyahu is demanding it. And that answers the question as to why there is this split in the MAGA movement. What we are seeing right now is the infiltration of Israel first people, the neocons, people who have always wanted never-ending wars, and the people who have recognized that following Israel's foreign policy initiatives has led to America being on the decline. And so that's where I stand. I am with the MAGA people who grew up, I call us like, Generation 9/11, who were told that America was going to be rendered safer, cleaner. All we had to do was agree to go to, well, ironically, war with Iraq because of weapons of mass destruction. It's all of the same rhetoric dating back to 9/11, all of the same tactics of trying to smear people who are against this war as supporting jihadists. It is not my business to affect a regime change in Iran. It's simply not our business. It doesn't impact us one way or the other. And we also are completely done with the idea that these decades-long idea that we're doing it to spread democracy because we believe in international liberalism. There was no imminent threat to the United States when Trump made this decision to do what Bibi wanted. And I want to be clear here. This was not Trump's decision. It was Bibi Netanyahu's decision. And that is the reason that he did it. And we're very aware that Israel is dictating our foreign policy, and we would now like that to stop.
Okay.
Kid you not, this has to be the wildest anti-Trump statement I've heard. The thing that it's coming from a self-acclaimed conservative makes it even more unbelievable. For more context, Donald Trump has clearly stated that it will not be a bad move for the people of Iran to, demand a regime change. And that was in response to questions thrown at him. A real war has to involve the targeting of Iranian troops. However, Trump scripted this military action to be initiated without having to harm both civilians and troops. Now, Donald Trump has always been a man of his own, and the way he called out Israel's attack on Iran after the agreed, ceasefire tells it all. It is and has always been about making America great again. Now, folks, let me know what you all think in the comment section, and please don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and turn on your post notification bell. Till our next clip, please keep staying sensible. Peace out.